familiar with being uncomfortable, and that I have an attitude of gratitude, and that's been developed from being here. But I got on the phone this morning. I got here about 7:30, and I was committed to coming to Ascent thanks to Jason helping me out with my accountability. And so I made my first call. Actually, I made a couple calls, but one guy picked up, and he was selling by owner, and he started talking to me. He was fairly nice, and as soon as he found out I was a realtor, his whole demeanor changed on me. He went from being informative to he put up an instant wall, and it was funny because I knew the questions to ask to keep him, at least kept him going. And his last comment was, "Do you not know what the meaning of no is?" And he said that to me, and I was really grateful because I kind of got one no out of the way already early this morning.
Love it.
And it was probably as bad as you can get. That was probably as bad as you can get on the phone. That's as hard as it's going to be on you. And it's not that hard. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate you. We're going to talk a little bit about
I'm
that.
still here.
We're going to talk about
I'm gonna go
that
get some
today. So
Yeah.
thanks for sharing that. That's awesome. Who else? Is that bad of a weekend, huh?
It was shaping up pretty bad for me. If you don't know, I have 3 boys under the age of 9 and under, and I was brave enough to take them camping.
Oh.
Nice.
And, yeah, some people know. So
Ah.
it was interesting in the beginning. A lot of things I learned, but the cool thing is it's all about experiences, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of times things when we seek to provide those experiences for others, whether family, friends, whoever it is, it can make lasting impact. So
Yeah. Nice. The experiences through life.
I'm grateful for delayed contact. I posted one of my signs. When I go door knocking and leave my business cards, someone texted me from 2 months ago
Wow.
saying, "Hey, do you really have a fire from my house?" And I knew it had been a while because I hadn't written that on my cards for a while. So I texted back, remind me how many bedrooms, bathrooms, and shot it over, what's the square footage. And I went, wow, this is great. I'm actually real close to where you are. Can I come take a look at the home?
Oh, nice.
So I did that, and now we have an appointment today.
Nice. Congratulations. That's awesome. Very good. Thanks for sharing. Great. Anybody else? Come on.
I actually found some time to mow my lawn. I have an 1.5 acres of lawn.
You do.
It's massive, and it takes hours to mow on a regular basis.
When did you move?
2 years ago. You need to come to my house, John. And
Is this a riding lawnmower?
oh yeah, I have 2 of them. Yeah, I have 2 of them. And I can only ride one at a time, but sometimes Grandpa helps. But it was like the lawn was 2 feet tall in some places. It looked like a field. And I'm thankful I was able to just dig out some time in the
Need some
week.
goats, man. Yeah.
I want an alpaca. But it looks gorgeous. It's just
Looks nice, huh?
beautifully manicured, and it looks fantastic.
My mower time, right time on my mower is my meditation time.
I like it too.
It's where I go to just relax a little bit. So thanks for sharing that.
It's delightful.
So, is this week? Today. So Lincoln's awesome also. Prospero Financial is the sponsor here with Vanguard. Contracts and bankruptcy class. Good one to attend. There's a lot of little pieces in there that you need to know about the nuances of actually handling that type of business. It's a fascinating process. And then the golf tournament we still have. I think there's a few spots still open. It's a good day to be doing that. And then the new book, we're going to finish this week. Jonathan's going to close us out on it, right, Jonathan?
Yep.
Okay. And remember Toastmasters every week. Certainly your ability to speak better each time. Get up and do these things. You see where you need to work, especially in the and ahs and so counters, right? So it's a great thing to be doing. Am I forgetting anything? Christopher, thanks for being here. President of Inspiro. If you guys have any needs? Yes, Jason.
Jeremy will be doing base camp on Wednesday.
Thank you. That was my next question. Do we know what he's going to talk about?
Real estate.
Real estate. It's a good thing to be talking about. Thank you. So today, I want to talk about the 4 elements of building rapport. When you hear that, what does that mean to you? Building rapport. Get to know them. What else? Yes.
Asking fantastic questions.
Asking fantastic questions. What else?
Breaking down barriers.
Say it again.
Breaking down barriers.
Breaking down barriers. So remember, it's not, Jeff, so was it this morning on the phone? The guy said, don't you understand? No.
No. Yeah, no. I haven't. He threw every objection at me.
Every objection. So here's what we've got to understand. It's what's going on in their head and their world is the reason they're responding the way they're responding. Check yourself right now. And some of you, I want somebody to lean in and tell me, how are you feeling? If somebody was to ask you, would you sell your house? Where's your mindset? How do you feel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty deep question, isn't it?
So,
Because that's what you're doing is you're showing up. And listen, all you guys went silent. So, how do you feel? Jeff, if I asked you, want to sell your house? How are you going to respond?
Well, that's interesting because it's usually the first question you ask when you're door knocking. But I'm realizing that just your body language, demeanor, and smile on your face can establish rapport.
Exactly. So if you look at on page 12, 4 elements of building rapport. Mimic tonality. Why is that so important?
because they perceive you to be like them.
Yeah.
You're listening.
So the minute you knock on the door, get on the phone, you're interrupting their life. What's going on?
They relate to you.
Are they relating or are they pissed? Are they upset? What's going on in their life? You've stopped. So, who knows who Chris Voss is? So, Chris Voss teaches techniques in hostage negotiations. One of his comments is that we all come from a place of negativity. That's where we start. So if we understand that, we're trying to create rapport with a person that doesn't know us. What's the emotional standing of that individual? You do it naturally extremely well, and we talked about it today. So, Curtis, when I asked you to jump in and lead us this morning, what went through your mind?
I was like, I don't want to have to talk that loud.
Right. But why?
His head hurts.
Right.
It's uncomfortable, huh?
I didn't think of why. I just was like, I ended up fine doing it. It just was like, geez, that's Timber.
Yeah.
She's loud.
She's loud.
She's loud.
Look at that.
That was pretty loud.
Now you're seeing what happens on a door knock. That was way loud, wasn't it? Now you're seeing what happens on a door knock or on a phone call because we're interrupting their lives. Part of what I asked you to do is a setup for what we're talking about. You didn't expect it, did you?
No.
Where'd your mindset go? To negativity. Like immediately. Because I asked for something he necessarily did not want you to
Didn't
do.
ask, though, actually.
Pretty much told, didn't I? Like, come on! And then I screwed it up for you. Badly, right? And he looks at me and goes, Rick, you're off.
All your shit's together.
So Alma does something that I think probably does it better than anybody I've come in contact with, and that's being able to bring it down. So Chris Voss talks about the reason where he got his start was in a suicide prevention call line. And he said that you have to put on your radio voice. You have to go calm. Eric, how's things going? Is it good for you? Everything good? Is there anything I can do for you? Yeah. So if you're going to bring it down, Curtis did that extremely well this morning. So as I was being an absolute ass on the phone, a driver,
Soft driver.
how'd you take me down?
Just ask questions.
So as far as mimicking tonality, would it have been disastrous for you to,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Recognize it and then try to come from a different.
How do you bring him down? So if mimicking tonality is so important, how do we, because if you would have come at me as like number one, would have been disastrous. But what Tony Robbins talks about is he talks about a guy, a terrorist bomber in a bar. If you go, we're going to blow things up, no. You don't mimic that kind of activity. So that's not what they're saying here. If you take the person like Matthew here, which is a kind soul individual, you're going to mimic, you're going to match that, but you still got to keep just the edge on it to keep him engaged, to get him excited, to get him happy about what's going on. Does that make sense? So it's about talking like they do. Tony Robbins has some great videos on building rapport and how to speak with people, what to say, how to say it, but listening to understand, not to respond, but to understand. In our role play, you were listening to what I had to say with the exception of one thing. We have to repeat ourselves, don't we? Because what was missed? What was the number one concern for the guy?
The deeper why.
The deeper why. Ooh, that's so good. The deeper why, because I was an expired, and he really didn't understand until he started going deeper with the question. So as we're talking to people, we have to go deep to understand whether it's lending or agent, whether they're selling or buying. Share with me, Alma, ultimately, what are you trying to do by the sale of your property?
Alleviate debt.
Alleviate debt. Tell me more about that.
We are just in dire straits, way in over our head. We need to simplify. Our kids have moved out, so
Okay.
we don't use the house.
So dire strait, debt, eliminate debt. So if we can formulate a plan to make that happen, I am assuming you want to know about that, right? If we could.
Definitely.
Okay. 5 o'clock work for you?
5:05.
5:05. I'm there. You want me to bring pizza?
Yeah, please. And donuts.
And donuts.
Oh wow.
Look, you have to have natural conversations, right? They're like, I want to go on that one, right? Deeper conversations, digging deeper for their why, their understanding. If you look at our foundation, this applies to what we're doing too, our why. Then the goal, helping them understand the goals, the plans to get there. The mindset. What's their concept? They believe in you. Is their mindset where it needs to be? Didn't sound like, Jeff, you had the guy's mindset where it needed to be. He was like, still a negative approach, right? But if we could have asked, share with me, ultimately, what are you trying to accomplish by the sale of your property? Would have it made a difference? To get a better answer, we have to ask a better question. What's going on in your life? How much difference is this for you now than it was when you first started?
It's getting a little bit more familiar.
Familiar?
Yeah.
See, here's the deal. For them, this is so unfamiliar. For us, we're in it every day, constantly working it. What about you, Matthew?
Better than it was a week ago.
It is. How do you feel? You hear what I'm asking? How do you feel?
can I say, we don't have to nail the appointment every
Thank you.
single time we call. There could be a callback, it could be a 2 or 3 step or FISBO. It's a self-discovery process.
It
Like
is.
if you don't nail the appointment on the first call, it's not a fail. All right, hey, how much time are you gonna take? Gosh, hey, good luck. Call you in a couple of days. Whatever,
Spot
just
on.
stop by.
Mm.
Whatever, you don't have to nail. And maybe Alma would say something different.
In
But
fact, in my career, that is so true. Very rarely do you get it on the first call. It's the follow-up.
So, I mean, there's 2 ways to do it. You have a high level of skill, right, where you can set 2 to 3, 4 appointments out of every 5 people you talk to.
Yeah.
Easily. That's based on skill. There's another one, which is being relentless.
Relentless.
Which is what this guy does really,
Yep.
really well. Now, I'm not saying he's not learning skill or he doesn't have skill. He's very skilled.
Right.
Naturally, he's skilled. But how many calls did it take you to set 15 appointments?
I made 650 calls in 4 days.
650 phone calls to set 15 appointments.
That's killing it. Good job.
So
300 a day? So you said how many days?
650 in 4.
in 4 days, 650 in 4 days.
Good job.
That's being relentless. So you can still do it. It's a matter of which route you're going to take, a high level of skill or a high level of dedication and being relentless through that process.
And really listen, right? Listen to, I always call it the breadcrumbs. What's the need?
And that's what I started noticing too, instead of being so like off the script and probey, just to take the time and just let them speak for a minute. It really diffuses everything.
Have a great conversation, right?
Make them
Yeah.
laugh a little.
Ah, love that. I love that. Why is inflection, change in pitch or tone and voice so important?
So there's all sorts of different types of people.
People like people that they're like.
Say that again.
People like people that they're like.
People like people they're like. I like that. Who else?
I think it shows your confidence a little bit.
Yeah.
Whether you're questioning yourself, sometimes you ask the question the wrong way. It's almost like they forecast how they're going to answer by the way you ask it, really.
Well, I like the one that's, I love you, or I love you.
I love
Linz.
Inflection's all in regards to how and what you're trying to do in regards to your conversation.
There you go.
So a lot of people will speak with a large amount of monotone if you listen to most people's recordings. And your upswings and your downswings are where you're going to create that tonality in your conversation. So your upswing is when you want to create doubt and question the mind of the client. Your downswing is when you're wanting to create authority. So just like you're saying, I'm not going to say, Rick, what works better for you, afternoons or evenings? There's no authority in that, right? Where you're going to say, Rick, what works better for you, afternoons or evenings?
Now listen.
There's a
Listen
lot
to
more
that
authority in
difference.
the conversation.
That's masterful. Yes.
Or the question of, so Rick, I'm just curious, what made you decide to pick that agent?
Gotcha.
You're going to go up because you're wanting to create question and doubt in the mind of the client.
Uh.
So the inflection is really paying attention to not only your tonality in the conversation, but also your ability to lead them in your tonality.
Which creates emotion. And that's what we're getting to. That was beautifully stated. Thank you. Emotion. Chris.
So very well said. With that, in my mind, this is the way I think. Am I in like the friend zone where I'm just like, oh yeah, that's really tough, and I empathize through it and everything, or am I being recognized as a professional that's going to get the job done? And you have to blend the two. Some of you guys understand what I mean by that. Have you ever gone through a call and they're like, you're just a great guy, or a great gal, but I just don't know if this is right for us to work together, right? And that for me is like friend zone. And for me, going to what Lindsay was stating in those 2 examples she gave, as soon as I hear that, I'm just like, yep, you're in friend zone, or you're the person that's going to get the job done and they want to work with you because
I like
you
that.
found the need, you asked the right questions, and did it in the right
I really like that because I'll tell you what, I think probably one of the advantages I have is the fact that I'm confident, very confident of who I am, what I do, and how I do it. And am I always right? Most of the time not. But I'm confident enough people believe that they're going to follow me and I can make adjustments along the way because of my confidence.
you.
Oh,
I just think tonality is like your ability to be a conductor.
Yeah.
You know?
That's great. That's really good.
Love that, yeah.
The ability to be a conductor. I like that. Because remember, again, the words we choose create emotion, which is what causes us to move forward. It's either going to be a positive or negative scenario, right? Okay, then the next, volume. Why is volume so important? Whether you're too loud or not loud enough. What's the problem? What's the good? What's the bad? What's the good, the bad, and the ugly?
You don't want to feel like they're in a corner. You don't want to be bullying anybody.
Well, you don't want to, you don't want to scream, right? I know I have to learn to bring it down because my emotion gets out of control.
Well, if someone's yelling at you on the phone, the easiest way to bring them down is to yell, but what you say has to be in agreement.
Yeah. Ooh, good job.
When you're in agreement and you're yelling, you know, oh my goodness, this person understands me, and they'll calm down.
I like that. Yes, Alma.
And I think it's important to acknowledge that when somebody is in that state, they're typically in a tremendous amount of pain,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be emotional, financial, they just had an argument, they had a terrible something go on in their life. And acknowledging first and recognizing that when somebody's mad at you, most people aren't inherently mad. If you walk through the grocery store, most people are typically kind and considerate. And so identifying that they may have something going on in their life that causes them to be in a large, inflated state of emotion is really important, especially when you're on the phone with somebody and they come at you like that.
Yeah, totally agree. It's what's going on in their life, right? We got to be really listening to the emotion from hello. I mean, we don't know what we're interrupting. What if they just had a fight with their kid or their wife or their neighbor? Who knows what? We don't know. We have to be tacticians on the phone. That make sense?
Yep.
And then upswings and downswings. Why is that so important?
It's extremely important. I just noticed with the first line, it either makes it sound like you're trying to pitch yourself or actually hear them out.
Just like going back to the I love you to I love you, right? Or you son of a bitch. Or you son of a bitch.
Yeah, once
You did
you-
that many? Oh my God, good job. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, one way's gonna be a high five or a punch in the face, right? Yeah, it's very